Hey creators, do you have a plan? What about goals? Or a schedule? If not, you're probably wasting a lot more time than you need to while working on your creative projects. Today we'll be talking about the importance of planning and preparation in your creative work, as well as how to build a time management system as a creator. Lots of creators have inconsistent schedules when working on their content, which leads to inconsistent creativity. Whether you're a YouTuber, streamer, TikToker, or blogger, having a solid plan and developing a system for project, task, and time management can make all the difference in your creative endeavors. Just like you subscribing makes all the difference in my creative endeavors, so hit that button. First, why is time management even important in the first place? For starters, there's a clear benefit of helping you get organized. When you have a clear plan, you know exactly what needs to get done and when and how. That can help you save so much time and energy in the long run, as well as prevent you from feeling overwhelmed or scattered. If you have a solid plan, you always know what you need to do next. Planning and preparation can also help you be more efficient and productive. And while your entire life shouldn't be about efficiency and productivity, by breaking down your tasks into smaller, more bite-sized chunks, you can tackle them more deliberately one at a time and make steady progress towards your goals. A big project might overwhelm you, but smaller tasks are much more manageable. And planning and preparation isn't just about making your work easier. It can also lead to better results. When you take time to be more thorough with your planning and preparation for your projects, the consistency you develop will help you produce higher quality work. Some creators are against developing these types of systems because they say it gets rid of their creative spontaneity. But if you're more consistent and make better work, you will resonate more with your audience. You're not losing that creative spark. So how can you get started with better planning and preparation in your creative work? Whether that's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, or something else entirely. We have 4 tips to help you build your systems for project, task, and time management. Set specific goals. Break down those goals into smaller tasks, make a schedule, and review and adjust as needed. So let's get started with setting specific goals. This is such an important step for the planning and preparation process for any creative project. When you have clear specific goals in mind, it's so much easier to create a roadmap to follow as you're working on your creative tasks. And this will help you stay focused on what you want to achieve. Here's some major things to consider while setting goals for your creative projects. Be specific. Instead of saying, I want to make a popular video, try, I want to have a video that has a particular effect on a particular audience. Or, I want to reach 1,000 subscribers within 6 months. Specific goals are more actionable and measurable, and that concreteness makes them easier to work towards. A few caveats. I tend to avoid numeric or metric goals like follower count or views on videos, because given the unpredictable nature of content creation, I think it's far better to set goals on what effect your content has on your audience. Like, what do you want them to learn? What action do you want them to take? How will you entertain them? Focus on the results that you hope one person might get from watching your content rather than the numbers at large, because every number, every view, every click, that's the decision by a person. So focus on the people that build the numbers rather than the numbers. In my own content, my goal for each ocarina video is to inform my audience about some specific topic. And my goal with that content at large is to help popularize the ocarina by improving the experience of new ocarina players through useful information. Next, make your goals attainable. While it's important to aim high, you want to be realistic. If your goals are too ambitious, you'll probably be discouraged if you don't reach them. And this mainly applies to numeric and metric goals like, oh, I want to get a video with 10,000 views and 500 likes within the first week. But this still applies to goals that are more centered on the effect as well. Like, if your goal is for your audience to become vegan, that's not going to happen with just one video. Maybe a more attainable goal would be for that viewer to eat 1 vegan meal a week. Next, try setting some deadlines for those goals. Obviously, you won't have a deadline on like the effect your video will have on your audience, but you can have a deadline for when you publish that video. Deadlines can help create a sense of urgency, which helps you stay on track as you're working. Last, consider your audience. Who are you creating for? What do you want them to take away from your project? You should have some image of who you want to create for as you're setting your goals, and your goals should be aligned with that target audience. If your goal is to grow a TikTok following, I don't think Gen X will be your ideal audience to enact that goal upon. But in any case, by setting specific, attainable, time-bound goals that consider your audience, you'll be able to create a clear vision for your creative projects, whether that's your videos, streams, whatever, and stay focused on what you want to achieve. This will help you stay motivated and on track, which will ultimately lead to better work. But once you've set your goals, how do you actually manage achieving them? Break down your goals into smaller tasks. This is such a helpful strategy for managing all the work involved with your videos, streams, and blogs. Breaking down a large goal or project into smaller actionable tasks and chunks makes them easier to tackle one by one than a big, vague project. I don't just make a task called make a video. I break down the project of making a video, starting with brainstorming, to writing the script, to revising the script, to storyboarding my video, to filming, to editing the A cut, to capturing B-roll, to editing the B cut, and then YouTube stuff like the thumbnail and tags and stuff like that. That might be a little excessive in terms of specificity, but it works. So here are a few tips that you can use to break down your goals and projects into more specific tasks. First, don't lose sight of the big picture. Remember what you want to achieve with your project and make sure that your smaller tasks are in line with that. Be a goal-oriented person who manages tasks effectively, rather than a task-oriented person who loses sight of their goals. Next, break down the steps of that goal or project. What do you need to do to achieve it? Break this down until you have smaller tasks that can be more or less achieved one at a time. Next, prioritize those tasks. Not all tasks are created equal, and some may be far more time-sensitive than others. Prioritize your tasks based on their importance and in some cases the resources they require. Also note what tasks might be prerequisites for others. You can't edit a video if you haven't recorded it yet, and you probably can't record a video if you don't have a script or some outline to base it off of. Then estimate the time you need for each task. This will help you create a realistic schedule for your projects and will help you accurately allocate time for each task. And base this off of past experience. If the A cut for a video typically takes you 45 minutes to an hour, don't schedule like 30 minutes or less for that A cut because you're gonna run out of time. Similarly, don't schedule like 3 hours for that because that's probably overkill. Next, use tools to help you stay organized. There's lots of tools and software available to help you manage your tasks, projects, and time. Figure out the tools that work best for you and how your brain works, and use it to keep track of your progress. I personally use Notion to manage my projects and tasks, and then Google Calendar to manage my time. By breaking down your goals into smaller tasks, it removes a lot of ambiguity and lets you stay more focused on the task at hand. This will help you stay motivated, continue to make steady progress, and ultimately lead to better results for your creative projects. But once you've broken down your goals into smaller tasks and roughly understand how long they'll each take to complete, how do you actually manage that time? Make a schedule. A clear, thoughtful schedule helps you allocate your time and energy properly, thus ensuring that you're more likely to stay on track with your deadlines and projects. Here are a few tips that I use for time management in general, but you can specifically apply to managing your creative projects. And we'll end with a little live demo on how you might do it. First, consider your availability. How much time do you have to work on your streams and videos? And how much time do you even want to allocate within that time available? Make sure you allocate enough time to complete your tasks, but also be realistic about what you can accomplish in a given time frame. Like if you only have 6 hours available per week to work on YouTube, you're probably never going to achieve daily uploads. And also, just because you have the time does not mean you have the energy. If your day job generally leaves you exhausted, you probably don't want to do high energy, difficult tasks in the evenings after that. You might save those for the weekend. While managing creative work on top of a day job does require to push yourself, you also need to do so sustainably. Once you have a sense of your availability and how much time and energy you can allocate to your creative work, reflect on your deadlines. Aim to schedule your tasks to meet them. Typically, you'll want to work backwards from your deadlines to develop your plan. If you're planning to do a stream on a Friday night, when do you need to brainstorm the ideas for that stream? When do you need to announce that stream? When do you need to prepare everything to go live? And when might you need to contact anyone you're collaborating with to make sure they're on board? The deadline might be the Friday night stream, but working backwards, you have a lot of things to consider in the week leading up to it. With your availability and deadlines in mind, start blocking out time on your calendar. Knowing exactly when you'll do your work really helps with actually doing it. And as you block your calendar, remember your personal life, work, and other obligations. So the order of priority for your calendar blocking might look like: first, consider your most precious personal activities. Things like family time, your morning routine, anything you really value for your health, both mental and physical. Then block out the time you spend on your day job, if you have one. Next, mark down any other social commitments or other obligations you may have. And then last, consider the time for your hobbies and creative work. Sometimes you might put your creative work in front of your social life, but that's up to you. But the point of this prioritization is to not let your life fall apart just because you want to add creative projects into that. Let's do a quick little example in Google Calendar. Let's set the morning routine and have that go daily. Let's also add family, friends, and chill time. If we're waking up at 7:30, we should probably go to bed by 11:30. Let's throw in Monday through Friday day job from 9 to 6. Now let's add daily creative work time. And for good measure, let's throw in some sleep. Obviously, this is quite a rudimentary schedule and it doesn't account for a lot of things, like house maintenance, maybe exercise. But this is sort of how you should think about allocating your time. First, make sure there's time for what's most important to you, like your morning routine, self-care, friends and family time. Make sure you know when you have your day job's work. Make sure you have sleep. And then once you work around that, you can start scheduling your creative work time. So in this case, it could be weekday evenings and then like weekends during the day. But as you saw by like the very rigid, broad schedule, it's very important to allow for flexibility because that schedule will not be followed every single day of the week. That might be the schedule you aspire to, but it's okay if you don't do everything you plan to every single day. You should be ready to accommodate the unexpected. Like in my own life, I plan out my weeks on Mondays in my Google Calendar, but there is close to 100% chance that the schedule I make for every single day has some changes. Maybe I oversleep a little, maybe I exercise a little bit more than intended. Maybe my nap is 45 minutes instead of 30 minutes. Humans aren't perfect planners, so don't feel guilty when you have to move tasks around. In fact, you should probably leave some empty space throughout the week, just to account for all those delays. Creating a schedule that takes into account your availability and deadlines, and then blocking out time to accommodate that, with room for flexibility, will really help you accomplish all your creative tasks in a timely, effective manner. All of that without sacrificing too much from the rest of your life. Even if most of your free time is spent on your creative work, it's still really important to have a life. Make sure you allocate time for self-care, friends, and family. However, even a system that starts out perfect may need to be adjusted. Our last major point for the video is to review and adjust your schedule as needed. It's common for things to evolve or change as you work on them, and for your life to change as time goes by. Sometimes your project, task, and time management systems will also need to be adjusted. Thus, it's important to be open to pivoting things around and reviewing your system to make sure that it works right for you. So assess that current system. After you've built your system and used it regularly, take some time to reflect on how it's working for you. Are you meeting your deadlines? Are you feeling overwhelmed or scattered? Are you producing the results that you actually want? Identifying the areas that might need improvement really help guide how you change your system. Next, experiment with different approaches. Don't be afraid to try new things like different tools, different ideas, stuff that might work for you. For time, task, and project management, there's so many systems and software that you can try, as well as different ideologies. Be open to trial and error to getting things right for you. Everyone's brain is different, so whatever I suggest, it might work for me, but it might be totally wrong for you. Also, try to get help and seek feedback. Everybody goes through these productivity issues, so it can be really helpful to get input from other people like friends, colleagues, or mentors even. See what they think about how you can improve your system to work right for you. You don't need to go through things alone. Also, make sure you're open to making these changes. If you're not meeting your deadlines, not meeting your goals, it's easy to think that you are the problem and not your system. So sometimes people think, oh, I just need to work harder, I just need to do more, my system is fine. But there's no shame in accepting that your system might need improvement. Change can be difficult, especially when it's a system that you use to manage your life, but sometimes it's necessary to make improvements. Last, track your progress and regularly review. As you use your system and as you make changes to it, keep track of your progress and how well these changes work for you. This will help you to continue to fine-tune that system to work for you as needed. So in practice, I do a 10 to 20 minute weekly review to evaluate my system and how well I've done for the week. I go over stuff like how well I stuck to my plans, what went well, what could be improved, and if the system itself needs to be adjusted. And then I also set intentions for what I want to get done for the following week. Even if you have a good system, it's important not to get stale or complacent in it. By approaching review and adjustment with an open mind and a willingness to try new techniques, you'll be able to continually improve your project, task, and time management systems. And this is all to serve your ultimate goal of being a little bit more efficient and focused on handling your creative tasks. Because at the end of the day, productivity isn't always about doing more. These systems are more about building the life that you want to have. So if you can spend less time working on your content while getting the same result, that opens up more time for self-care, time with friends, travel. This is all to say that I'm a big fan of systems that help you be more productive, but I don't think productivity is the end goal. Achieving your goals for your content, that's the end goal. Building the life that you want, that's the end goal. But let's recap. No system is perfect, especially at first, but having a system at all will help you be so much more effective and productive and focused when handling your creative tasks. Start with setting specific goals for your content and your channel at large. Then work backwards from there. Break down your projects into smaller tasks, then schedule time to work on those tasks to achieve your projects that fulfill your goals. Then, Adjust your system as needed to work best for you. Planning and preparation can feel like an extra unnecessary step in the creative process, but it is such an important one. By taking the extra time for planning and preparation, you really will set yourself up for success in your projects and your goals as a creator. Legitimately, my project, task, and time management systems are the most important thing to my creative endeavors. So I hope I can help you build something that works for you as well. And if you're of the mind to build systems to help enhance your creativity, consider watching my video on how to build a system for optimizing your content. You can get a lot more made if you simply make the most of the good ideas that you already have. Otherwise, thanks for watching, leave a like, subscribe for more, comment what step you will take to start building a better planning system. Watch that video next, and I'll see you next time. Happy creating.